actually true.
With the shirt, like the surfer hat with the little suit was way for Gil. But he paid me for it, so I'm like, all right, cool.
Well, but he would get a girl and start messing with her in the backseat?
Backseat. I can't say the name he had, but he had a good one time. And I'm like, is this real? He in the back door, I'm driving. They doing whatever in the back.
I don't know what people's problem is. Two adults being in love. I don't know why that would rub people the wrong way. It's kind of weird. Love is love at the end of the day.
Drea Michele and NBA star Jalen Green's relationship has always raised eyebrows. But now it looks like things are spiraling way beyond their 17-year age gap. From rumors that their daughter may not even be his, to explosive street fights caught in public, and shocking ties to Diddy's scandal-filled circle, this drama has layers on layers. And trust me, once you hear how messy it really gets, you'll understand why the internet is dragging them both. Y'all, forget the age gap for a second because Drea Michele and Jalen Green just took their drama to a whole new level. Picture this. New York Fashion Week, cameras flashing, celebrities strutting, and in the middle of all that glamour, Drea and Jalen are out on the streets screaming at each other like it's a reality show reunion. It wasn't just a heated argument either. Eyewitnesses say it got so physical that people had to step in before Drea actually swung on him. And as if that wasn't messy enough, word on the street is that during this blow-up, Drea might have let slip something that changes everything, that the daughter she just had with Jalen may not even be his. Now, imagine the fallout if that's true. Jalen's been parading around, talking about how becoming a dad inspired him on the court, while critics dragged him for playing stepdaddy to a woman almost old enough to be his mom. And now the whispers are growing louder. What if the baby isn't his at all? What if Drea's been playing a different game this entire time? And trust me, that's just the surface. Because while fans are still reeling from the fight and the paternity rumors, other allegations are starting to bubble back up, including ties that link Drea to none other than Sean Diddy Combs. And we all know right now, being associated with Diddy is the kiss of death for your reputation. Some people are even claiming there are receipts that go way deeper than a drunken argument on streets. So, the question isn't just whether Jalen Green is about to walk away from this relationship. It's whether Drea Michele's entire empire of glam, connections, and influence is about to crumble right in front of our eyes. And y'all, if the DNA whispers and those Diddy rumors keep piling up, this might not just be another messy breakup. This could be the scandal that defines them both. Before we get too deep into the fight and the baby rumors, let's rewind for a second, because none of this chaos makes sense without knowing who Drea Michele is and how she ended up in this whirlwind with Jalen Green. For those who need a refresher, Drea first came into the spotlight as one of the breakout stars of Basketball Wives LA. Back then, she was known as the pretty girl with a sharp tongue, always caught in the middle of drama with other cast members. But she also built a reputation for dating high-profile athletes. Over the years, she turned that reality TV fame into a brand. Fashion lines, influencer deals, appearances, but her love life has always been the main headline. Fast forward, and here comes Jalen Green, a rising NBA star, barely in his 20s, with his whole career and fortune ahead of him. The internet nearly broke when the news dropped that Drea, who just hit 40, was not only dating Jalen, but was flaunting it proudly. And y'all, the backlash was instant. Because here's the kicker. Drea's oldest son, Nico, is literally the same age as Jalen. Let that sink in. Her boyfriend and her child could have been classmates, teammates, or even gaming buddies on Xbox Live. Fans pointed out how awkward it was when Drea started bringing Nico courtside to watch Jalen play. Imagine being a teenager and having to sit front row, watching your mom scream and cheer for a guy who's basically your peer, but also your stepdad. Social media didn't hold back either. Memes started flying, people calling Drea a super cougar, and others flat out accusing her of grooming. The double standard became a hot topic because we see older men with younger women all the time, but when the roles were reversed, people felt like something about it didn't sit right. And to make matters worse, the internet dragged Nico into the conversation, saying he always looked uncomfortable, like he'd rather be anywhere else than supporting this relationship. Some fans even speculated that the embarrassment might have damaged his bond with his mom. Suddenly, what Drea saw as love and two consenting adults was being reframed online as something exploitative, selfish, and downright humiliating for her son. But here's the thing, Drea didn't care. In interviews, she brushed off the criticism, basically saying love is love, and if men can date half their age without getting this kind of heat, then why couldn't she? And sure, on paper, that argument makes sense, but when you add in the fact that Jalen and Nico could literally swap IDs and no one would question it, the backlash only grew louder. So, from the very beginning, this relationship wasn't just a love story. It was a lightning rod. People weren't just judging Drea and Jalen's choices. They were questioning the morality behind it. And that's why every new rumor, every new fight, every new scandal hit harder. Because the foundation of their relationship was shaky from the jump, and the internet never let them forget it. Now, you'll know a scandal like this doesn't just pop up out of nowhere. If you've been following Drea for a while, you know this is far from her first rodeo when it comes to messy relationships with men in the sports world. In fact, her past is full of stories that make today's drama with Jalen feel like deja vu. Let's take it back to 2022 when Nick Young, better known as Swaggy P, sat down for an interview with Vlad TV. He told this wild story about his rookie days, when NBA vet Gilbert Arenas used to make him drive around as his personal chauffeur. Now, Nick swore this wasn't just a quick ride situation. Gilbert would actually make him put on a chauffeur's hat and suit, like some kind of hazing ritual. And while Nick was playing driver, Gilbert was living it up in the back seat with different women. But here's where it gets messy. According to Nick, one of those women was none other than Drea Michele. He painted the picture like it was nothing unusual. Him driving, Gilbert in the back, and Drea getting a little too cozy. Nick tried to laugh it off, but fans instantly caught onto the name drop. And if that wasn't enough, Laura Govan, who was Gilbert's ex and also Drea's castmate on Basketball Wives LA, came forward and basically said, "Yep, that story's true." But Laura didn't stop there. She dropped an even bigger bombshell. She claimed she actually found paperwork in the house she shared with Gilbert showing that he paid Drea $25,000, allegedly to bring her out to LA. That's right, Laura accused Drea of not just being Gilbert's fling, but being on his payroll. And in the world of reality TV and athlete gossip, that's about as scandalous as it gets. Of course, the internet ate it up. Memes, tweets, whole threads dragged Drea, calling her a jump-off and questioning how many other NBA players she'd been involved with. People said this proved she wasn't just dating in the sports world. She was allegedly working her way through it. And y'all know Drea wasn't about to stay silent. She clapped back hard on Instagram, posting a series of stories where she tried to clear her name. She insisted she wasn't a homewrecker, that no one was married at the time, and that her interactions with Gilbert happened years before she ever joined Basketball Wives. But here's the part that stuck with people. She admitted she didn't always do clean things in her past, and that's why she doesn't spend time bashing others online. It was kind of a half denial, half confession, and it left fans wondering if she was really telling the full truth. And when Gilbert himself was asked about it later, he played coy, never outright denying it, but never fully confirming it either. Which, of course, only made the speculation louder. So why does all this matter today? Because when you stack these receipts next to the drama with Jalen, it paints a pattern. From Gilbert Arenas to other NBA players, to now locking in with a rising star nearly half her age, Drea's love life has always had people questioning her motives. Was it really love, or was it strategy? Was she building genuine connections, or just securing the bag? And that's why the DNA rumors about Jalen's daughter and the whispers about her ties to Diddy feel even heavier. It's not just about what's happening now. It's about the reputation she's been carrying for years. A reputation that's messy, complicated, and full of unanswered questions. If you thought the age gap and the messy history were bad enough, just wait until you hear about the baby mama chaos. Because this storyline is pure reality TV gold. Only it's happening in real life. In 2024, Jalen Green went from being a fresh-faced NBA star with no kids to suddenly having not one, but two children within months of each other. And the timeline of it all had social media going into overdrive. Here's how it went down. In February 2024, a young California student named Maya Lopo gave birth to Jalen's first child, a baby named Mora. Maya is around the same age as Jalen. So when the news dropped, fans were like, okay, messy, but at least it makes sense. But before anyone could process that storyline, 3 months later, in May 2024, Drea gave birth to her daughter with Jalen, a little girl they named Light Green. Yes, you heard that right, Light Green. The name alone had people clowning, but the bigger story was the timeline. 2 women, 2 babies, 3 months apart. Suddenly, Jalen wasn't just an NBA rising star. He was the lead character in his own baby mama drama saga. And people were quick to point out that Drea, the seasoned 40-year-old, had gone from defending her controversial relationship to being dragged as just one of Jalen's multiple baby mamas. Now let's talk about the money, because that's where things get even messier. With Jalen having 2 kids so close together, the child support pool was suddenly split. Rumor has it Drea was furious when she found out that Maya would also be entitled to a piece of Jalen's earnings. And we're not talking small change here. Jalen secured a massive $106 million renewal contract. And in situations like this, both women are entitled to financial support for their children. For someone like Drea, whom many critics already accused of using Jalen to secure the bag, this split check was seen as a major blow. But while the internet was laughing about the trickster getting tricked, there was another layer to the story that made things even sadder. Drea's oldest son, Nico. Remember, Nico is the same age as Jalen. From the moment this relationship went public, fans said it had to be humiliating for him. He was being dragged into memes, jokes, and commentary he never asked for. And according to whispers online, Nico may now be estranged from his mother because of the situation. Think about it. Your mom is dating a guy your age, then she turns him into your little sister's father, and on top of that, he's got another child on the side. People speculated that Nico was being teased and bullied by his peers, who probably joked that his mom's boyfriend and his mom's baby daddy were just as young as he was. And it's not just about embarrassment. Fans suggested it damaged their bond permanently. So instead of looking like a power couple, Drea and Jalen started to look like a cautionary tale. 2 babies in 1 year, child support battles, rumors of family tension, and a strange son who's caught in the crossfire. And the irony? Drea thought she was locking down a young NBA star to secure stability for herself. But instead, she ended up tangled in the same baby mama drama that so many other women in the industry face. And let's be real, this is the kind of drama that doesn't just fade away. Babies mean long-term connections, long-term financial obligations, and long-term headlines. No matter what happens between Drea and Jalen, this messy family tree is locked in forever. Now, let's circle back to the moment that really set the internet on fire, the Fashion Week street fight. Because while the age gap, the baby mama drama, and the past scandals had people already side-eyeing this relationship, it was that explosive fight in public that turned the whole thing into a trending disaster. Picture it. New York Fashion Week, one of the most glamorous events in the world. Celebrities, designers, paparazzi. It's supposed to be about couture and luxury. But instead of Drea Michele and Jalen Green serving looks on the runway, they ended up serving chaos on the sidewalk. Eyewitnesses say the argument started small, maybe just some back-and-forth bickering, but it quickly spiraled. Drea was allegedly yelling, pointing fingers, even trying to get in Jalen's face while he was desperately trying to de-escalate. And here's where it gets wild. Multiple bystanders swear they heard Drea, clearly drunk, scream something like, "Maybe that baby ain't even yours anyway." Now, whether she actually said it or not, that one line has been echoing all over social media ever since. Because if true, that's not just a fight, that's a bombshell. That's basically Drea throwing the biggest paternity doubt grenade she could in the middle of a public spectacle. And once the word got out, fans couldn't stop speculating. Was it a slip of the tongue? A heat of the moment insult? Or was she low-key confessing to something she's been hiding? And listen, the internet doesn't forget. Clips and blurry photos from the fight started circulating within hours, and the comparisons came flying. People said it looked less like a power couple and more like Blueface and Crazy Rock 2.0. You know, the toxic lovebirds who can't stay out of headlines for public brawls, messy cheating accusations, and constant drama. That's exactly the box Drea and Jalen got shoved into. Instead of NBA star and reality TV bombshell, people started labeling them toxic hood couple energy. And here's the thing. Once you get compared to Blueface and Crazy, it's almost impossible to shake it off. It becomes shorthand for dysfunction, for chaos, for a relationship that's more spectacle than stability. And let's be honest, that's the last thing Jalen Green needs when he's supposed to be focusing on basketball and building his career. So now the narrative has shifted. Instead of people clowning Drea for being older or clowning Jalen for being immature, fans are genuinely questioning the paternity of their daughter. Was that drunken confession just a weapon in an argument, or was it the truth slipping out? And if it is true, who's the real father? And remember, this is all happening while Jalen is already juggling 2 kids under 1 year old with 2 different women. The stakes don't get higher than this. One DNA test could completely flip this story upside down. And based on Drea's track record, fans are not putting anything past her. And just when you thought this saga couldn't get any messier, here comes the wild card that flips the entire story upside down. The Diddy connection. Now, this one didn't come from random Twitter gossip. It came straight out of the mouth of Hitmaker, a producer who's been in the game long enough to see a lot of behind-the-scenes mess. During a recent podcast appearance, he casually dropped a bomb about Drea Michele allegedly having a past encounter with none other than Sean Diddy Combs. He didn't get too specific, but he made it sound like Drea wasn't just around Diddy, she was in the mix. And listen, maybe a few years ago, being linked to Diddy wouldn't have raised eyebrows. He was the king of parties, the billionaire mogul, the one everyone wanted to be connected to. But right now, being linked to Diddy is career poison. After the FBI raids, the lawsuits, the trafficking allegations, and the leaked videos, anyone even rumored to have history with him is suddenly radioactive. Brands, fans, even other celebrities are running for the hills. So imagine what it looks like when Drea, already dealing with DNA rumors, baby mama chaos, and a public fight with Jalen, suddenly has her name tied to Diddy. It doesn't just make her look messy, it makes her look dangerous by association. People online instantly started speculating. Was she one of the women at his infamous parties? Was she involved deeper than she's letting on? And most importantly, is that what she meant when she blurted out that Jalen's baby might not be his? Because here's the ugly truth. Once people start connecting dots, they don't stop. They're now asking if Diddy could somehow be tied to this paternity mess. Is it far-fetched? Maybe. But in the court of public opinion, perception is everything. And right now, the perception is that Drea has a history of attaching herself to powerful men, whether it's Gilbert Arenas, Jalen Green, or allegedly Diddy. And every single time, it's ended in drama, scandal, or straight-up humiliation. That's the pattern people can't ignore. Drea isn't just accidentally stumbling into messy situations. She's allegedly choosing powerful men with money, status, or influence, and hoping it'll secure her future. But instead of security, she keeps ending up in the middle of chaos. And with Diddy's name now in the mix, this isn't just chaos, it's a full-blown liability. Because let's be real, if even a fraction of the Diddy rumors are true, anyone tied to him could end up subpoenaed, exposed, or worse. And the last thing Jalen Green or the Houston Rockets want is their rising star caught in the fallout of an FBI investigation. So the question becomes, is Drea Michele just unlucky in love, or is she playing a dangerous game that finally caught up to her? So where does all of this leave us now? Honestly, in a place where every angle looks bad, especially for Jalen Green. On paper, Jalen should be living the dream. He just locked in that massive $106 million contract. He's supposed to be the face of the Houston Rockets rebuild, and he's still only in his early 20s. But instead of headlines about his game, his name is being dragged through gossip blogs and shade room comments about baby mama drama, DNA rumors, and a Fashion Week street fight. That NBA golden boy image, it's already taking hits. And for Drea Michele, the narrative has gotten even uglier. Fans are dragging her as the classic gold digger, the older woman who saw a rising star with a 9-figure contract and jumped in before anyone else could. The problem is, if that DNA whisper turns out to be true, if that baby isn't really Jalen's, then her whole plan backfires. Instead of securing the bag, she could end up exposed, humiliated, and locked out of the very lifestyle she thought she was securing. But it's not just about money or contracts. There's a personal cost too. Nico, her oldest son, is still hanging over this story like a shadow. The whispers about him being estranged aren't going away, and people can't stop pointing out the awkwardness of him being the same age as Jalen. For fans, it's become a symbol of just how messy this relationship really is, a reminder that Drea's choices don't just affect her, they affect her kids too. And if Nico really has cut ties with her over this, that's a wound money can't heal. So now the big questions are all circling at once. Will Jalen finally demand a DNA test and settle the whispers once and for all? If it turns out the baby isn't his, will he cut ties completely? Or is he too deep in the chaos already? And what happens if those Diddy whispers gain traction? Does Drea get pulled even further into scandal? Or does she find a way to spin the narrative like she always has? Because here's the thing about Drea Michele. She's survived scandal before. From basketball wives fights to Gilbert Arenas allegations, from clapbacks to career reinventions, she's always managed to bounce back. But this might be the one storm she can't escape. So I'll leave y'all with this cliffhanger. Is Drea Michele on the verge of losing it all? Her relationship, her reputation, and her family ties? Or will she do what she's always done, flip the script, and somehow come out on top?